Hey book besties, it's Maria, and we're going to talk about an indie book, Veil of Shadows, today. This book is written by Paul Yoder, and I did pick this book up as a audio arc to review. Let's go ahead and start off by reading the book description. Dante never believed in fate, until it ripped him from Earth and cast him into Mirrodin, a world where thought shapes reality and ancient forces vie for control. Stranded in an untamed jungle kingdom, ruled by a theocratic order, he is hunted as an outsider and burdened with a past that refuses to let him go. To return home, Dante must strike a deal with the enigmatic rebel priest, Merrick, who promises him a way back, but only if he helps steal an artifact of unfathomable power, the Veil of Dar. The task pits him against Nazira, the cunning high priestess whose illusions have enslaved a nation, and Cordan, her cold-hearted enforcer. With the fierce warrior Kara at his side, a woman bound to him by duty, Dante is thrust into a battle far greater than his own survival. As his past demons manifest in terrifying ways, he must decide, is he merely a lost traveler seeking escape, or does Mirrodin hold a destiny he can no longer ignore? So usually in this spot I talk about the audience of the novel, and honestly, I was really struggling with this one of how to describe the reading audience of this book. That said, I mean, it's billed as an epic fantasy, so if you enjoy epics, this might be one for you. So this book is, at least at the very beginning, kind of a classic isekai. Our main character, Dante, comes from Earth as we know it and is brought to this place called Mirrodin. And he spends a year in this jungle, swampy setting as he is trying to find his way to civilization, but he's very much stuck in his own thoughts and his own mind, and he can't move forward until he chooses otherwise. Main character Dante is a frustrating character. He really wants to go back home to Earth, but he's also very much stuck in this mindset of I need to go back and make things right for my ex-wife and my daughter. And while that is noble, he gets stuck in this mindset of just being miserable all the time, thinking that he was an awful person in his old life, and he thinks about these kind of darker thoughts so much that it actually gets a little bit annoying and repetitive. And to see a character like this get, the main character be so static throughout what is an epic fantasy, I know that in theory he should have some character progression, but it was really frustrating to see absolutely nothing, especially when we start getting into more details about this particular book. I debated whether or not I wanted to bring Kara up in this video. She is considered the main love interest of the book, but I think that it was handled a little bit ham-handedly. The initial attraction is very physical, and it doesn't really get very much of a chance to naturally build. It feels like kind of a forced proximity situation, and I don't know if I would like this character more if given more time, but honestly, I barely, like, I didn't want to finish this book, so I am not going to read book 2. And it's an epic series, so I don't know if I'm going to find her more lovable in the future or not. And finally, Faza. Honestly, this character, if the entire series was about him, I would absolutely read the entire thing, no questions asked. This character was incredibly lovable, very wise, and so helpful, like that, to the point where, like, he basically sacrifices himself at the beginning of the book for Dante. And it really frustrates me that he gives Dante everything he needs to know. And Dante basically, like, because he's so stuck in his ways and his negative thoughts, he takes all of that sacrifice for granted. And it really bothers me. For the theme, we have manifestation. And what I mean by that is that this setting of Mirrodin is basically a place where your thoughts have power. So if you think to yourself like negative thoughts all of the time, like Dante, and you think, well, this thing is attached to me, it's never going to go away, I'm the problem, it's my fault, I'm horrible, then that's going to be a self-perpetuating prophecy. If you try to move on and be better and make good choices going forward, then things have a better chance of improving. Your thoughts have power in this place, and Faza explains that to Dante very early on after they've met, and Dante completely just stomps on that. That particular thing is one of the reasons for my rating of this book. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a lot to say about spoilers here. I don't want to dive deeper into this story very much. I enjoyed the surface of it, but I think that it could have used some more development. The main character is very static and unlovable, and it makes the entire story it colors the entire story for me, and it makes it very hard to move forward in the story. I actually considered DNFing this book multiple times. My main frustration with this book is that at the very beginning of the story, Faza tells Dante where he needs to go in order to hopefully find a way to go back to Earth. And then he gets there in the same book. I like reading epic fantasy. I enjoy epic fantasy. And the thing is that if you get from A to Z in one book, where's the epic? Where's the tale? Where's the struggle? Where's the improvement? Dante goes from his swamp to Faza's to, I can't remember the place that he ends up, but he ends up in the place Faza told him to go in book 1. And that's cool and all, but it does not make an epic. An epic is long. It takes a while. There's struggles. There's extra people added to the party. There's people who leave. There's micro stories within, and this doesn't feel like an epic. And that really colors my opinion of this book. If it wasn't advertised as an epic, I could forgive some of this. But it is listed as an epic fantasy, and if you don't have all of the expectations of epic fantasy in an epic fantasy book, then you are not meeting genre conventions, and it shouldn't be listed that way. So I think that kind of explains a lot about my rating. I think that the writing itself was super solid. I have no notes as far as the writing goes. The writing was great, but it really just needed more time and more development because, again, this book is an epic fantasy and it was 8 hours long. That's not an epic fantasy. It's maybe sword and sorcery, but it's not an epic fantasy. So it not meeting genre conventions is why my rating is the way it is. So I'm giving it 3.75 stars. It's a little bit of, it's one of my more critical ratings that I give. I have 1 starred a book. I have 2 starred a book before, but as far as my YouTube videos go, this is one of my more critical ratings. Other than the DNF video I posted, I don't know, a few months ago. It's hard to say whether or not I recommend this book. It does have some really good qualities, but also if you read a lot of epic fantasy and you understand the genre of epic fantasy, you might be disappointed. So I'm going to say maybe on this one. You might enjoy it more than me, especially if you do want to see a more static character who maybe sees character progression later on in the series. That said, it did not hit the mark for me. I think that Dante has a lot of things to work through, and I think that it would have been good to see him work through at least one of those things in this book. And I think that it was a little bit of a disservice to the story to leave him so much the same between the beginning and the end. So that's what I think. I do have a link down in the description to pick up a copy of the book. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you liked this video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for being here.